Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry. My husband Eric and I run LearnDoBecome.com, where we help people who are drowning in the details of life to create simple systems so we can do what matters most. Now, one of the things that we've been teaching for years and years and years is how to actually create a command central. How to create a system that helps you to get out of all of the craziness of life, helps you not to feel overwhelmed. If right now you're either in the middle of building a command central and you're feeling pretty excited and you're looking for some inspiration to keep moving, this podcast is for you. Or if you're brand new to Learn, Do, Become and you're thinking, I would love some inspiration to help me get over the procrastination or the fear and help me to actually feel excited about moving forward on big projects, then I'm so happy that you have joined me today. Today's podcast, episode 71, is titled, Do You Really Want More? Just Begin. If there is something you feel that you are meant to do, first of all, you're not alone. In fact, it's pretty exciting when you feel like you finally know what your mission and your purpose is. But often we're afraid that our initial efforts won't be enough. Maybe you're thinking, oh, there's something really huge I want to do, but how can I possibly do it when I'm sitting in the middle of a mess, or I'm feeling overwhelmed at work, or I'm trying to figure out a million other little things. And I understand that you can feel kind of discouraged sometimes. But today, my goal is to help you not to feel discouraged, and even better, to feel excited about the work that you are doing and the work that you are meant to do. I want to start with a quick story from about 12 years ago. So this was back in 2007. I was a young mother of 4 children. I just had my 4th child. And I had this dream of building a website for mothers that would be a powerful instrument for good. Now, as I was thinking about this awesome website I wanted to build, I put together a Word document with basic website copy and all the sections mapped out with little internal hyperlinks. And I was dreaming about this little website that I wanted to make. In fact, I also wanted to start thinking about the homepage, visually what it was going to look like. I do not have graphic design skills, and they were even worse back in 2007 than they are now, which is hard to believe. But I did have word art, and I could make shapes, so I did. And if you want to see the really funny shape that I made to explain my website, the shapes and little rectangles and the color, oh man, it's pretty exciting. But you can go and check it out at learndobecome.com/episode 71. It's pretty fun. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, and I certainly didn't think that would be my finished project, but I needed somewhere to begin. And it actually makes me smile when I look at it now, because that website, it was called Power of Moms, which I actually did launch later that year, which has grown and grown and grown to have thousands and thousands of people. And it's really fun. But seeing where it started, it's really humbling, but it's also really empowering to acknowledge, hey, everything has to start somewhere, right? Now, I'm not saying that right now I've arrived or anything, but in a lot of ways, I finally got to the point not only where I launched Power of Moms and was able to build that with friends and an awesome community, but then Eric and I were able to build Learn, Do, Become and grow this to have hundreds of thousands of people who come to our website every year, and an amazing community that I just feel privileged to get to associate with. And the main reason I'm recording today is because if you have something meaningful you're excited about, you don't have to wait to do everything perfectly from the start. I think a lot of us are natural perfectionists, but my mom always taught me, begin, the rest is easy. So for the next few minutes in this podcast, I'm going to talk about some of the ways we can begin. I'm going to talk about some of the big projects and how we can break them down. And then I'm actually going to share with you what our community members in our Step Mastery Facebook group have shared about how they are doing the same thing. They're learning how to just begin. I know that it often feels overwhelming. And I know that one of the things that stops us is that we don't want to add to the overwhelm. I totally get it. Now, building a Step Command Central, if you haven't done that yet, is going to be huge. It's going to help you to feel calm. It's going to help you to organize those next actions, and it will enable your brain to be able to focus on just a few things so you don't feel like you're focusing on a million things at a time. This is incredibly important. But if you don't have a Step Command Central in place, but you still want to learn how to do this, it can still apply. I just guarantee you're going to feel less stressed if your Command Central is in place. If you are already in our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, you've got lifetime access. Come on in, get started. This is a perfect time to build your Step Command Central. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then go to learndobecome.com/step and take part in our free class. All right, so first I just want to explain a few examples of things that I've actually done in the past that have helped me to move forward imperfectly. For example, I wanted to write a book. We've actually published 3 books now. But so many people have books they want to write, even if it's just for themselves or for their family or for a small group, or maybe you have an audience and a YouTube channel or a podcast or something like that, and you want to write a book, great. But oftentimes writing a book feels like something huge. But what I started doing literally was having a little notepad in the kitchen, and while something was heating in the microwave, I would just start jotting down ideas. Then I would collect all those ideas in a little file folder that I put in my current project support materials. And whenever I got ideas to work on that book, I would put the ideas into that file folder and I would just collect them there. That was one way I got started. Then actually for my last book that I wrote called Thursdays with Zoe, which is all about my mom as she was passing away from Alzheimer's, I actually created a little, I don't know, what do you call it, the cardboard. It looks like the science fair projects, little cardboard. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And I would put Post-it notes and start grouping ideas together. And I would get out that cardboard thing that the name's going to come to me later, and I would put all these Post-it notes on it. See how I'm just moving forward imperfectly? But eventually, those Post-it notes turned into chapters. And then I sat down and actually wrote out the full chapters and then went through Fiverr to get someone to help format that into something that could actually be published via Amazon and their Kindle. I mean, it's pretty amazing what you can do nowadays. So just starting with something simple like a notepad, back of the napkin, right? Something so easy, even if it doesn't look beautiful and you would be really embarrassed to show it to anyone, that's how we get started. Another idea, let's say there's a class that you are dying to take at the local college. We don't want to put that off, assuming that someday you'll have more time to think about it. Now, of course, there are some things that we put off. We don't do everything right now. But when you know that there's one specific project or one specific thing that you're meant to do at this time in your life, and it really will help set you up for success in the future, we want to act on those things. And when we learn how to break them down into really simple next actions and just get moving, it's going to feel amazing. I'm actually going to apply this briefly to our Step Command Central. When you come and join the free class, you learn 4 steps on how to create your current projects list and how to identify next actions and put those into a really solid next actions list, and then how to work from that list using these 4 simple criteria. Then, if you want to learn more about building the entire thing, we have our STEP program, which can teach you how to do that. When I first came up with the Step Command Central, I didn't have a budget to buy any additional office supplies. So literally, I went around my room and I found some little cubbies and some boxes, and I found a card table that Eric had put out in the garage, and I just built it using what I had at the time. I want you to come check out the show notes page so you can see the contrasting photos. The photo of my first Command Central and then the photo of my current Command Central. They look totally different, but the functions are the same. Kind of like that first car that you started driving compared to the car you have now. And, I don't know, maybe they're the same. We just pretty much drive our cars into the ground. Our car right now is really not very impressive. The doors don't open right because we have lots of kids and I'm not interested in starting over yet. Maybe once they all leave the house. But the first car Eric and I drove, it was a Toyota Camry. It was a 89 Camry. We got married in 98. And we literally had to tape the starter together in order for it to work. So every few days, the electrical tape would wear off and we would tape it back together. And so it was pretty funny. I remember sitting there one day and I was like, Eric, we are taping our car together. We need to make some changes. Anyway, it all turned out better, but that's how it was when we were students. Okay, but While it isn't the right time for everything right now, there are too many things that I believe we put off because the tasks simply seem overwhelming. I want you to feel confident in adding things to your life that will make your family life or your career or your personal experiences richer and more purpose-filled. Okay, so now I'm going to share what our STEP community has put together. I went in and shared with them my before and after of my first Command Centrals. I showed them my very first word art of my Power of Moms website. And I said, tell me, what are you doing right now to just begin? And they shared some words of wisdom and some stories. And I know this is going to inspire you today. And as I'm reading these, I want you to be thinking, what is something that I wish I could do, but feels overwhelming right now? And I know that ideas will come to you as you're considering that question and as you're really believing that you can accomplish it. All right, so first, it says getting beyond the perfectionism of that perfect moment. It is hard to think in chaos, but I'm understanding that it's not going away until that next step starts. Awesome. All right, next one says, my next action is clearing out the roll top desk for my Command Central. I would someday love to operate either a bed and breakfast or quilt retreat center, or even a combination. Okay, so fun. Love it. Next person says, I want to have a private practice. My next step is convincing myself that I can try. Since that action might take a while, I'll just sit down and jot out what I want it to look like. Oh, brilliant. Just taking time to create that outcome vision, that's part of David Allen's natural planning model, just those simple 5 steps. You identify the purpose and principles, and then the second step is create the outcome vision. So that might even be something you could do right now. Take 10 minutes, sketch out what you want it to look like, write it out, get Post-it notes, make it so easy. Another one says, I would like to write a book. Today, I'll start a binder with each chapter as a tab and put all my miscellaneous notes into the right chapter section. Okay, simple, beautiful, right? Okay, next person says, okay, I have 3. I'll list them from least to most crazy. Number 1, reupholstering our dining chairs. So I guess that's the least crazy. I've done this once before, several years ago, taking the chairs apart, removing the old fabric, recovering, and putting the chairs back together. I remember it was harder than I had thought it would be. I've been thinking that my next action is to take the chairs apart and wash the existing fabric, but now that I think about it, I should probably get my sewing machine out and make the covers first so they're ready to go. I should be able to do that this week. Okay, I love that. Awesome. All right, next one. I want to put a fence around our front yard. And to save money, I feel like I should do it myself. This has been on my someday list for a while and probably doesn't belong on my current or next in line project list yet, but it's on my mind because last week I needed to dig up and replace some broken sprinkler heads and pipes and subsequently carried on digging up weeds along the perimeter of the grass. What I really need to do is finish fixing the sprinkler and fill all the holes in and keep the fence on my someday list for now. My next action is to turn off the sprinklers. I will do this when I get home, and I will not just turn off the controller, but also the main valve outside. So if the controller turns itself back on again, the water still won't run. Okay, this is beautiful. Now, first of all, she brought out a couple of really important points. One is that when we organize our projects, we want to have levels for those projects. I explained this in my podcast about how I use Asana. That's asana.com, asana.com. That's the free project management tool that I love and our whole team loves. But you can also do this on paper. But in our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, we recommend that you create a tiered project list where you have a very simple current projects list. Then you have your in progress or waiting ones that depend on somebody else to move forward before you can do anything else. Then we have next in line and someday. When you have these 4 categories, then you can actually make decisions on your projects. Like she's saying, hey, this fence, that needs to go on someday. That means I'm not worrying about it right now. But getting these sprinklers turned off, right, getting some of these other things done more quickly, yeah, those are the current projects. So it's totally fine to tier your projects, to put some later and some now. We have to do that because we're human. But what's beautiful is when your brain knows there are just a couple projects on your current projects list, you're going to breathe better. That's what I want for you. And the more that you listen to what we share here at Learn, Do, Become, and the more you start putting it into practice in your life, the more you're going to see that you actually are breathing better. And you're going to say, oh my goodness, this is what I've been looking for. Okay. All right. The other thing that she emphasized was the importance of identifying a next action. We want to make sure we're not just putting projects or sub-projects on our list. A next action that she identified, turn off the sprinklers, turn off the main valve. She knows where it is. She knows how to do it. So she's going to go home and do it. If you didn't know how to turn off your sprinklers and you needed to ask somebody, that would be your next action. Text so-and-so and ask how to turn off my sprinklers, or do a YouTube search, or do something, right? But when you know how to identify a next action, boil it all the way down, and you can picture yourself doing it, your brain all of a sudden calms down because you don't feel like that task is sitting in limbo. And it releases the stress that's often on your shoulders, or you might feel the stress in your neck, or you might just not be breathing well. Super common. This is going to help. All right. And then this is her third one. I think this is the one that she calls most crazy. I think it's awesome. It says, around where I live, we have a large and growing homeless population. I also live near a VA center that sits on a large parcel of land. Well, maybe a square half mile, which is big for our area. And on this property, there are maybe a dozen or more old vacant buildings. They're obviously uninhabitable, very dilapidated, and maybe even condemned condition. But every time I drive by, I wonder if they couldn't be part of a solution for the homelessness in our community. But providing homeless vets a transitional home and maybe even job training if they were part of helping to fix the buildings to make them inhabitable again. So that's my crazy pie in the sky idea that I'm scared to tell people about in case someone actually expects me to make it happen somehow. My next action would be learning more about the buildings, their history and how and why they ended up in their current condition. I do this casually by asking people who grew up around here when the opportunity arises, but I haven't found anyone yet who actually knows anything about them. So I guess I would have to be more deliberate about these efforts with earnest research, or actually, gasp, going to the VA center and talking to someone about it. I want to share for a moment why I think this is so beautiful and not crazy at all. Anything good that's ever happened in the world that's outside the norm happened because someone was willing to do something that was outside their comfort zone. All the beautiful music, the beautiful art, organizations, schools, libraries, everything that we enjoy today happened because someone was willing to do something that was hard. Because if people just sit around doing everything that's easy, you're not building, you're not creating, you're ending up with a lot of entropy, right? But I believe that when an idea comes to you over and over again, like every time she passes these buildings, these vacant buildings, she's thinking about how it might help the veterans. I believe that there's divine inspiration in that. Now, it might not be her job and her purpose and her assignment to complete that, but maybe it is her job to bring the idea to someone. And hey, maybe there might even be a person out there who already has funding and resources and people prepared to organize it, but they haven't had the idea yet. So I believe when you get these ideas, this inspiration, taking a next step just to see, hey, what could I do with this idea? Or why am I having this idea? Or why might this be helpful? I believe that that's what we are meant to do. Everything we've created here at Learn, Do, Become started with something very little. Like, hey, do you think people would like this program? Hey, do you think that maybe I should do a special group for this? Or, hey, maybe should we start a podcast, right? All these things that we've done just started. And if it's a good seed, you end up with a plant, right? If as you take these next steps, it's a good thing and it's the right thing, you're going to see that growth will start to happen. Now, it won't necessarily be easy, but you're going to feel something bigger pulling you in that direction. That's what's happening with our Steps to Everyday Productivity program right now. To be honest, I feel very inadequate to lead the movement that I feel inspired to lead. I am still figuring out how to be a better wife and a better parent. I'm still trying to figure out how to manage my emotions, how to deal with stress. There's a lot that I'm still trying to figure out. I don't feel like I've got everything nailed, but there's something that's bigger than me that's lifting this movement and that's pulling me forward. So it takes a lot of bravery for me even to get behind this microphone and start talking about it. And when I look and see, we're almost to 1 million downloads. Actually, by the time this publishes, we might be at 1 million. That is so fun to think that 1 million downloads have happened at Learn to Become Radio in our 71 episodes. That's pretty exciting. That's why I continue to do things that scare me, is because I know that something good and something amazing is going to come from it, hopefully in your life. And I'm hoping that you on the other end, yes, you, you're like, is she talking to me? Does she even know I'm listening? I believe that you are listening to this for a reason, because there is something unique that you are meant to do. And maybe you've been pretending it's not there. And maybe you've been stifling it by getting on social media, or maybe eating more than you need, which I've been there. Or maybe you're just trying to distract yourself because it's too painful to think about what you could be when you look at where you are right now and you're not satisfied with that. I get it, but I believe in you, and that's why I'm here. I don't need to be here. Our business actually runs just fine without a podcast, to be honest. One of our biggest months and biggest years, we actually recorded hardly any podcasts. So as far as the actual function of the business, podcasting isn't central. But the reason I'm here and the reason I'm recording this is because I know that while you're driving or walking or exercising or doing something else, sometimes you need a voice that gets where you are and that can help inspire you to keep moving. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm sharing these beautiful stories from our community, because they're awesome. All right, moving on to our next person who responded in the Facebook group. And I told them I wouldn't include names. I'm just sharing what they put. They said, love, love, love this. My problem is I have too many dreams. One dream is to visit, photograph, and blog about all 61 national parks while earning some income on the side. In doing this, I want to help others in their photography and travel journey. I've started 2 websites helping in this process, but so far no income. But I've been able to go to 20 national parks, and the list keeps growing. Next action for the national parks goal is to edit and organize the photos I've already taken and make a blog schedule that I can actually keep. Beautiful. Then she says, I'd also want to write and publish a book. I've started a rough draft. It would be of a spiritual nature and is right now called Finish the Race. Book next action, set aside a time to simply write. Another goal I'm working on is composing a church song. I'm collaborating with a friend and we have a shell of a song out together already. Next action is finish writing the lyrics. Okay, I love this. And one comment I just want to make on the set aside a time to simply write. That's what I started doing back when I had all these little children and hardly any time to think. And so Wednesday night was my writing night, and Eric would put the children to bed. And from about 6 until 9, it was 3 hours. I just went up into the bedroom with the computer and I just did my writing night. And I started with a little binder. Then I started writing things online. And this was prior, I think, to me even having a Facebook account. This was like years ago. And I didn't really have anywhere to send it. I think I emailed some friends what I was writing. I didn't know I was going to put it or what I was going to do with it. But having that time, a regular time that's just for you, it's so important. Okay, here's another one. I have a dream of writing a devotional called Lessons from Journal. I have written some one-page creative reflections ending with a question and a prayer. It just stayed a dream because I was raising 4 kids. My journaling faded away. My youngest is 17, but now I have a full-time job. Going back through past journals to find the pages to start with seems overwhelming. Perhaps I could start by using Blogger and then maybe someday print. Seems far-fetched to me, but I can't shake the idea. That is one of many things I'd like to do, quote, someday. Okay, that one comment right there, I can't shake the idea. That is how you know it's something that is central to who you are and what you're meant to do. We get a lot of ideas, but most of us can shake the ideas. But occasionally, an idea comes that says, this is your purpose. This is a role that you get to play in helping other people. And when you can't shake the idea, come to Learn, Do, Become, build your Step Command Central, and put this on one of your project lists, and let's get it going because it's going to be amazing. All right, here's another one. My research that I started 3 years ago. My next step is to contact the association about which survey platform they prefer to use. The survey has been done for so long, it's embarrassing. I just have to do it. Okay, I love that. Just putting out a survey. But that can feel overwhelming, right? But a next step, just contact the association. Now, do you already have the email? Do you have the phone number? Yes. Great. Okay, go do it. Put it on your next actions list. Learn how to put it in your context-based list. Come to our free class if you haven't learned about that yet, but it's pretty awesome. And then here's one final one. It says, one day I want to serve a service mission with my husband when our kids are grown and to be able to be self-reliant and in a place that it's not stressful to do this. We recently took a next action here by taking some steps to get some finances in order. Beautiful. Now, Eric and I have actually been working on the Life Architecture program. This is his passion, helping people create this perspective and their plans and goals and values. This is exactly the kind of thing that Eric is passionate about helping you to do. Because while I'm passionate about helping you get the day-to-day stuff under control, your emails, tasks, papers, projects, all just the stuff, Eric is the forward thinker. He's the one who's making the 50-year plan. He's the one who's saying, okay, let's actually look at how we're architecting our lives. Right now, everything we're doing, all our decisions we're making, we're not just thinking about next week. We're thinking, okay, 10 years out, what would this do for us? How we're raising our teenagers right now, that has a big impact on our family dynamics once they're, married or have children of their own or coming back to visit. So we're trying to be wise in everything we're doing now, really doing some forward thinking. And just like this person said, hey, I want to, do the service mission when our kids are grown. That is totally possible. But we do need to know, well, what would our finances need to look like? Or what would our life situation need to look like? What would we do so this wouldn't be stressful? It is 100% possible to do this. In fact, this is a goal Eric and I have had. We want to do service missions as our children get older. And our youngest is 12 right now, so we still have a little time while he's in our home. But we're preparing for this right now. We're thinking about it. We're planning. We're making lists. and we feel very confident. Like I feel 100% confident we'll be able to do this because we've got things in order. Okay, so now it's your turn. I actually would love for you to come to this podcast page, learndobecome.com/episode 71. And I want you to share in the comments a big thing. I put that in quotes because it doesn't have to be big, but I want it to feel like, it's kind of a substantial thing for you that you would like to do someday that feels nearly impossible. And then I want you to write down one next action that is so embarrassingly easy that you feel almost silly writing it down, okay? Just like I'm going to turn off the sprinklers. Something that's so easy. I'm going to call and find out what survey software I need to use. I want it to be so simple that as you write it down, you think, well, yeah, of course, I can do that. Just share that. And then your ideas that you record are going to inspire others. Does that sound good? All right, now before I close, I just want to read a letter that we received from a woman named Rebecca who sent in a beautiful thank you note, and she just created her Step Command Central. When I read her letter, I just thought, oh my goodness, this is why we do our work. This is why I love it. This is why we're here. And I'm sharing it not only to be able to celebrate Rebecca's success with you, but I want to clearly call out to you that if you are feeling overwhelmed and if you feel the pain of living in piles of stuff and tons of clutter and you don't know how to get out and you've tried everything, but you don't believe anything will work and you're like, I don't want to fail again, and you're feeling scared, I want you to know that we will take care of you and that building this step Command Central is going to change your life. So I'll go ahead and read what Rebecca said. She says, Dear April and Eric, it is with my deepest thanks that I'm writing you. I saw your ad for your training, How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles, on my Facebook feed about 5 weeks ago. I had almost clicked on it a few months earlier, but this time I did, and it is changing my life. Had you talked about organization or even clutter, I don't know that I would have clicked on it, but the word piles spoke to me. No matter how many times I have organized, Marie Kondo'd, and cleared out clutter, I couldn't get a handle on the piles, mostly of paper, but stuff too. Eventually, the clutter and piles crept back in with the resultant stress, frustration, self-condemnation, and confusion for why I couldn't get a handle on it all. When Eric said to treat the webinar as an important appointment and to write it down and commit to it, I did just that and am so glad I did. So I took the webinar and understood instantly that you knew what you were doing and that your system would work. I signed up for the basic step course and started immediately. I'm working through the modules, which are brilliantly organized into such bite-sized pieces. Now, just as a side note, our team has done an amazing job revamping, putting it together. I love our team. So it is brilliantly organized. And a huge thank you to Kristen and Danielle, who really helped manage that part, and to our whole team. We've got Jill, Taryn, Susan, Grace, Jace. They're awesome. Okay, that was just a little shout out because we love our team. Okay, then she says, they really have set me up for success. Thank you. And yes, of course, I upgraded to Mastery, which I also love. And side note on that, we have 2 programs, a self-study and Mastery. Mastery is where you get support, community support, Q&A calls, our step library. It's awesome. And if you're ever thinking of coming into step, I really encourage you to go into Mastery. At least try it out. You know, you're not stuck in there if you want to downgrade or whatever, but it's fantastic. All right, then she said, I had time in my schedule to spend the 15 hours getting my Command Central established. Files set up, desk cleared off, and supporting material drawers cleared out and ready to use. My Command Central is clean, peaceful, and completely organized. My desk looks out over the mountains outside Colorado Springs and includes a view of the iconic Air Force Academy Chapel in the distance. The entire room emanates peace, and it is now a joy to work there. Beautiful, right? My project lists are being formed. My routines lists are almost completed. And the next action steps in a context-based form seem so natural and easy, I can't imagine ever doing it differently. April, thank you for permission to only have a few projects going at a time. Total game changer for empowerment. It's amazing to me how the routines list has changed so many things for me. I get way more done each day in less time, and it's easier. My house is cleaner and more organized, and it's literally almost effortless. Isn't that awesome? Okay, then here's what she says. But here is my biggest thank you. I had just gotten my Command Central established when I was called to help with the care of my longest time friend. I love her dearly. She has influenced my life with unconditional love, and I am so indebted to her. She is very ill and needs a lot of help right now. Because of following your teachings, I was able to quickly leave. Prepping for this eventuality was one of my projects, so I was packed and organized, and fly out to San Diego to be there for Patty. While I was with her, I was focused, completely present, and centered in love. It is exactly as April has said on the podcasts, which are lovely, by the way, that having the details of our lives handled allows us to then accept our higher purpose and answer God's call when it comes. I will be with Patty again, but because I listened to April and especially took to heart the advice from podcast 58, which is called Making Room to Wait, Incubate, and Grieve, on leaving time for grief, I am spending my time at home recovering and gaining back my energy without pressure to do a bunch of projects that are important but not urgent right now. The last time I was in a hospice situation with my mom 20 years ago, I was so painfully stressed and overwhelmed with fear. I paid a huge price with my health. 6 months following her death, I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of MS. I spent the next 2 years fighting for my life, working my way out of a wheelchair, and redoing my life to support health, not illness. But this time is radically different. My Command Central completely supported me, allowing me to be present to Patty and hearing God's voice as I was with her. I did an awesome job taking care of her, and I'm so proud of how I was able to respond to God. I used my time to listen closely to his voice and felt comforted instead of battling the cruel pressure in my head, telling me about all the things I'm not getting done. That love flowed out of me to Patty and comforted her. I so appreciate the love and encouragement that flows from you when I listen to your podcasts. Your vulnerability and courage inspires me and has deeply touched my heart. I thank you for praying for the people who haven't heard of STEP but are looking for it even though they don't know it. I was one of those people, and I am one of your answered prayers. Thank you for making this season of grief in my life be full of joy, not pressure, and feeling God's love, not the hatred of my inner critic. STEP is invaluable and applicable to real life. I love my STEP journey and thank you for your dedication, energy, passion, and interest in each and every person in your/our community. I love it. It's our community. Healing comes in many forms, and I have no doubt that you're helping to heal this world. Eric and April, you too, your staff, and the STEP community are in my prayers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From Rebecca. Okay, I feel like a little embarrassed reading all that because I'm not trying to bring praise to myself. I recognize that I have been in a similar spot to Rebecca, where I was not healthy, I was not strong, I was not stress-free, I was overwhelmed and feeling like I was drowning pretty fast. And by getting the STEP Command Central in place, I've been able to have similar experiences to what Rebecca has explained here. A lot of you know that my mom passed away from Alzheimer's a couple years ago, but she had it for 7 years and she was just declining through the stages of Alzheimer's, actually 7 stages of Alzheimer's, and she declined through those in about 7 years. So I was able to go out with my kids about once a week, go spend time with her and with my dad, being present, reading the book I was writing for her, taking her to the library. We went on walks. We sang songs. The girls painted things and made hearts, and we decorated for the holidays in her room. And I had all these years that I got to spend just being fully present with my parents because my mind wasn't stressed about what was happening back at home in my email inbox or on my desk or in our business. I want you to be prepared for the opportunities and the challenges that are ahead of you. All of us have them. There isn't one person that I've ever met who hasn't had to encounter problems. And I get it that right now you might be like laying in bed thinking, I don't even want to get out of bed. I have a stressful marriage, or I have a stressful family situation, or I don't like my job, or I'm bankrupt, or I'm sick, right? Or I have a friend who's sick, or I'm losing my parents, or something. All of us have something. I have it too. I've been going through some hard stuff too that has had me on my knees more than I had anticipated, but I'm grateful for all that I'm learning. And I just want you to know that what we're doing in our STEP community is powerful. And it's not me. I'm not the creator of this power. This is a divine power, and I'm here to help facilitate the application of these ideas in your life. That's how I see it. I love you guys so much. And I'll just close by sharing just something that I posted in our STEP Mastery group the other day. Just a note to say that STEP doesn't make life perfect. It helps us not to feel overwhelmed through the imperfections. There are times in each of our lives when what is required from us far exceeds our perceived abilities. I'm going through a period of time like that right now. I understand the feelings of frustration, sleepless nights, juggling of constantly changing schedules, silent hopes, heartfelt prayers, and wondering if all the energy will be worth it in the end. But in the midst of all that, I believe that it is our responsibility to keep trying. That is where STEP comes into play. We take a breath and replenish when needed, but then we clean up our calendars, simplify our lists, focus on the projects we can control, and do our best to create order and peace in a world that feels like the total opposite. This group inspires me. I know a clean desk, an orderly house, and a calm mind won't solve all the problems of the world, but they sure make it easier to show up every day as a force for good. And that is what you are. That is what we are, a force for good. That's my little note of encouragement for today. I hope that this podcast has been helpful. I know that you want more for your life or you wouldn't be here listening to this. And I know you want to just begin, but you feel like, there's reasons why I'm not doing it. If you need more help learning how to get rid of the excess, how to simplify, how to essentialize, how to create that focus so that you can move forward with very simple next actions and a simple list, come join our STEP program. Right now, people are literally flooding into the program. It's amazing. Our whole team is excited. We just brought on a new team member to help handle all the emails and help take care of our community because our team was like, But it's awesome. And we're thrilled to be here. And we are prepared to grow this and grow this and grow this because I believe that a STEP Command Central on every desk is going to change the world. So again, if you want to check out our show notes page, you can read through all the things I've shared today on the podcast. That can be found at learndobecome.com/episode 71. And if you haven't yet taken our free class and you're thinking, what is this magic Command Central you keep talking about? We'll show you at learndobecome.com/step. You can also follow us on social media. We have a Learn, Do, Become Facebook page that has, I think, like 108,000 people who are following that page. We also are on Instagram. We just kind of started building over there recently. I think we're almost to 8,000 over there, which is pretty fun. And not that your value is dependent upon the number of followers. I'm just kind of letting you know where we are, where the party is. Okay, so you can come join us. This is a movement. And just like I'm going outside my comfort zone to live my purpose, I think you need to do the same. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's really fun. And it's a really great feeling to go to bed at night knowing that you're living your mission. We are here for you. Thank you again. Have a great day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.